Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with Digital Rim. And in this video, we're going to go over the fundamentals of developing a story for your brand. So with that being said, we're just going to hop right into it. Let's go. Okay, first we're going to start with why it's important to create stories, or why it's important to tell a story with your brand or with your, just in general. But learning how to tell a story actually engages the audience. It gives them something to want to kind of watch, kind of entertain them in a way, but also takes them through an emotional journey that gets them to an end goal. So if you're able to curate a story or take them through a journey, it makes your brand or your video or whatever the case that much more compelling. So with that being said, developing a story is super key. Now, another key is you want to practice the art of storytelling in your everyday life. So if that's even just telling your spouse or your girlfriend or whoever about your day, tell it in a story fashion. Learn the art of storytelling, and it'll communicate that way when you actually do it for your brand or do it for your your business or whatnot. So the art of storytelling is one of those things that is a soft skill that a lot of people really overlook. But again, if you have the ability to tell a story, then people kind of gravitate towards you because you're engaging, or your energy is exciting. It's something that people want to be around. They want to be immersed in your story or immersed in a story. So with that being said, wrap your brand inside of that story and, have an end goal for them to get to, knowing that this story takes them to this end goal, which again, essentially might be your product or might be a thing that you want to share with them or whatever the case may be. But having a story is super key. Okay, so now we're going to break down 5 different areas of storytelling that you want to keep in mind. So this is essentially the outline of a story. We're going to break this down into digestible areas of a story because, again, stories usually have some type of outline that they kind of always follow. Now, stories can get more and more complex as you watch movies, you can probably tell, but stories can get more and more complex. But for the simple purpose of telling a story, we're going to give you the most simplified version, outline being of a story. So first and foremost, this is something that people often skip, is set the scene. First, just set the scene with your story. Let your audience know where you are in the world. Where is this taking place? Giving them context on what to expect in this area or expect in this environment. So letting people know where you are as far as, orienting them in the world definitely helps with setting the stage for your story. So again, it's called set the scene. You probably heard it called set the stage, or, all different other terms that probably are out there. But again, you want to set the scene. You want to let it be known this is your location. So for instance, give you a quick example. If you have a beauty salon, maybe instead of going straight into your video about your beauty salon, maybe you have an outside shot that shows like where you're located in the world at the end of the day, what your building looks like, maybe the sign at the front door, things like that, and then go into the next part of the story being like, okay, this is what the information I want to share with you. So we're going to cover number 2 right now, being what is the challenge? What's the challenge and what's keeping them from their goal, or the person that's viewing it from their goal, or the person who's in the story, the main character, what's keeping them from their goal. So we're going to speak in the spirit of business. Now you can see how this applies to like movies and things like that, but we're going to speak in the spirit of business and start for branding and things like that. So you want to state what the thing is, that pain point that your audience is dealing with. That pain point being the service that you're going to end up offering, but that pain point that you will offer. Now, with that being said, if you are telling a story to end up getting to the pain point, maybe you share something, a point in life where you set the stage, where you share a point in time that you had this thing that was holding you back. Let's stay with the beauty salon example, but I had this engagement that I was going to attend, but I had nobody to do my hair. My hair was so bad because whatever the case may be, I'm not, clearly I don't have hair, but whatever the case may be, my hair was so bad and I didn't think it was anything that anybody could do about it. But I knew I had to attend this event, and I had to be there, and that was really holding me back from this specific thing. And again, the more details you share, the more compelling that story is. So we're going to go into part number 3, being what are the roadblocks, the complications. Again, I kind of led with that, but the roadblocks and complications being like, you know, on my way to the salon, because I knew I had to get my hair done. So on my way to the salon, there was traffic, and my appointment was at 3 o'clock, and it was 2:45, and I was stuck in traffic. And these are all the roadblocks, like literally roadblocks. But again, you could think about these things like, you could think about certain things that are not literal roadblocks, but things that are holding you back from your goal, or holding your audience back from their goal, or so on and so forth. So again, I think you get where this is kind of going. So figuring out those roadblocks. Now, with that being said, my mind is going there, so I'm gonna just say it anyway. In the movies, this is something you probably notice all the time. Like, the character wants to do this thing, but something is holding them back from doing that thing. And then they have a breakthrough, and you think they're gonna get to that thing, then something else comes and holds them back even further. And then it's kind of like this dance between them breaking through, and you think it's gonna be, it's gonna go one way, and then something else comes out and puts them back, or makes it a worse situation. We're like, man, are they ever really gonna get there? So again, slowly but surely, you're starting to get more invested in that character, because like at first you're like, oh, he's trying to reach this thing. If he reaches the thing right out the gate, that doesn't really make for an interesting story. But if he's able to achieve one thing, and then it's like he achieved that one thing, but then gets set back, and it's like, oh man, then he's like figures that out, and then achieves that, and then he gets set back again, and you're like, man, you start to empathize with him, like, man, is he really going to get there, or what's going to happen? So again, drawing your audience in, very, very key. But that all starts with what roadblocks and complications that they are going to have. And again, if you're selling something, you want to point out these roadblocks and complications in a story form. Number 4, you want to cover what happens. Did they achieve their goal or not? Is it a happy story, or is it not a happy story? Whatever the case may be. But again, you want to get to a conclusion of your story. You don't want to leave your audience hanging. You want to conclude your story. Did he get there? Did he achieve the end result, being his goal, his ultimate goal? Like, what was keeping him from his goal? But his ultimate goal, did he achieve that, or did he not achieve that? And if he didn't achieve that, why? Is good idea to be like, why didn't he achieve it, or something like that. But I'm saying that in the form of saying, like, if you are selling or offering a service or things like that, like, why didn't they achieve their goal? What kept them from achieving their goal? Because again, if they didn't achieve their goal, if they didn't reach success, then that's no point in telling that story, especially if you're offering a service or offering something to people as a resource for them to get to their goals. So if you're offering something as a resource for them to get to their goals, but the person in your story doesn't reach their goals, what does that say about your brand? So you want to think of things just like that. So in number 5, how did the story change the main character? How did the story, change who they are, or bring them to the next stage of life, if you want to say? But how did it affect them when they reach this result? So let's continue with the the person who's getting their hair done. Their result being they got their hair done. It was complete. They got their hair done. Now they were able to attend this event, and when they attended this event, they actually met a celebrity who even commented on their hair, and it brought them opportunity to do this and this and this and this. So again, really just telling that story from beginning to end, like from all the way to the end. Again, when they reach that goal, you want that to resonate with your audience. Super, super key. But the main thing is knowing who your audience is, so you can know what pain points they're having, what roadblocks they're having, and things like that. That'll get them to that ultimate goal. How did they achieve their goal? And then how did they achieve their goal? But then, how did it change them? How did it affect them? Did it make them super happy? Things like that. Was it a boost, or whatever the case may be? I'm trying to find the right words, but I think y'all pretty much get it. Like, you want to guide your audience through a story, but at the end result, the end of the story really highlights the value that you offer as a brand or as a service or as a business. So again, that's the key tip to actually developing a story for your videos when you have a brand or have a service or have a business. Very, very key. So there it is, the art of storytelling. It wasn't called the art of storytelling, but you get it. It's an art to storytelling. And if you practice this daily, practice this every day, I promise you, you'll get more people gravitating towards you, but at the same time, you'll actually get more business. You'll actually get more people, admiring and loving and listening to you. You get more engagement just because you have the ability to tell a story in a format. Again, I suffer from this personally for a long time. I was always more straight to the point type of person. But again, the more and more I've created the Creator Academy, the more and more I see the value in telling a story or leading with a story or guiding people through a story, because again, it makes it relatable. It makes it where people come to a conclusion. They can see a conclusion, they can see a result and see themselves in that conclusion or result or in that main character. So I hope you enjoyed this video about the outline of developing a story. That's what we call it, even though I just said, what I call it? The art of storytelling. But this is really just developing a story. Learning how to develop a story is very, very key, especially if you're creating video for your brand. So with that being said, I hope you all do that one thing that takes you closer to your goals, like I always say. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Later, y'all. Peace.